But I am live, and it is HTM Chat time. And it's Friday, and the title has not updated yet, but it will within the minute, so I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it alone. Let me see, what do we have music-wise here? Let's see, of course. Is it actually playing? It is. I can't play that. Okay. My wife is listening to this. But I have a plan B. Hold on. I have a plan B. Music for programming. That's what I'm going to go with. You guys, any programmers out there, if you like electronica and you like something to just set your mind at ease, this usually does it for me. Sometimes it gets wacky, but you know, that's okay. I'm just gonna dial it down a little. 50%, let's say. Let me put my headphones on for this. No, you guys don't have to hear my speaker blaring. Alright, I bet you're wondering, what are we gonna do today? What's gonna happen on HTM Chat TIme? It still hasn't updated yet. Hold on. Force it to update. There we go. HTM AI Chat Forum Q&A. So certainly we're going to do Forum Q&A. Now we got one viewer. This is weird music. It's not distracting me yet, so I'm gonna keep it on. What are we gonna do today? Today is Friday, May 10th. We're gonna do forum Q&A. We're gonna do building HTM systems. There's gonna be a research meeting, I think. And then we're going to continue building HTM systems because I haven't even asked if there's really going to be a research meeting, so I'm not even sure. Hey, is this thing on? This thing on, you guys out there? Is chat working? Somebody chat me up something. Say hello. Live stream. Live now. Okay, threw it in Discord. I am throwing it up into the forum too. Oh crap. Sorry. I'm sure you guys were really enjoying that. That's the bad thing about this. You can't continue where you left off. So this is still music for programming. It's just a different album. I started with the first one. This is curated by Data Cassette. You can find him on Twitter. He puts together some of these playlists, and other people put together others. Anyhow, I'm forming it now. Forming is a verb. I'm forming. I'm forming. I'm gonna put that in. I am forming, which is a verb. I don't think chat's even on. Hello. Is there a HTM chat? There we go. That's what I'm doing, a casual work session. Ask me anything. I'm answering forum questions, generally doing whatever. Then we're gonna go into building HTM systems. As soon as we get through this, we're gonna start building HTM systems. So there's sort of gonna be phases of the stream today. HTM chat, building HTM systems, probably research meeting. That reminds me, I'm gonna have to check in at the office real quick. So you're gonna hear me. I'm gonna turn this all the way down. And I'm gonna go check in with Jeff and make sure there's actually a research meeting today. So that means turn this on, so in case I show something I don't want to show, Jeff, or show you or his voice or his image without his explicit permission. Hey, Jeff. Is there a research meeting today? It'll happen if Subtai shows up. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. There it was. All right. So I got a non-committal answer on that from Jeff. And then I logged off. Here we go again. This is nice. This is nice music. All right. To the forum. To the forum. To the forum, all. This is like Elizabethan. Let's move this over a little. Okay. Asymmetric confidence again. Okay, let's see where we were at here. It's been a couple of days. This is the we're talking about the repeating inputs problem a lot lately, and that's great because it's been hard to like explain, and now a lot more people understand what the problem is, I think, and why the repeating inputs is an issue. If you don't have something that's explicitly closing off sequences, how that can be an issue. Or like you have to have something to direct your attention to something else. So basically I say, stop building this sequence and now the input is building this sequence, and there's no notion of basically movement at all in the HTM model. And you really need that. I think part of the answer to this is movement. When you execute movements through other parts of your brain, that's sort of like a sequence, and you know what to expect if you execute a movement through an object space. And so that movement at execution is like a coordination between the object space that's represented in your cortex and then like the movement space, which I think is represented both in your cortex and most likely in other parts of your brain too. But I think there's a representation of both in the cortex, although the cortex doesn't control the motor necessarily. The lizard brain has ultimate control over those things. It has input to it. Like you said, you can take over some of your in unconscious actions, like breathing. You can lower your heartbeat if you concentrate. But it's hard, and the lizard brain is going to keep that heart beating for sure. Mark is saying, I can't remember if I read this online yet or not, but with hierarchy, I would expect a higher level to feedback a context framing the sequence. In practice, this might look like the HTM TIme input encoder. Context, how do we group experiences? Episodic memory. The HTM TIme input encoder with the current time field staying the same with the new. I think this is exactly what we're talking about, right? I mean, like framing the sequence. Essentially, you have to frame the sequence. Yeah, that's the same thing that I was just blathering about. I think so. I think we're on the same page, Mark. We have some HTM way of establishing a circular repetitive task with online learning. This should be an important research line as is a common task in the brain. The central pattern generator comes to mind. Biological neural circuits that produce rhythmic outputs in the absence of rhythmic input. Rhythmic outputs in the absence of, absence of rhythmic input. Excuse me. Okay. They are a source of tightly coupled patterns of neural activity that drive rhythmic motions like walking, breathing, or chewing. The ability to function without input from higher brain areas still requires modulatory inputs. The ability to function without input from higher brain areas, I'm assuming higher brain areas is cortex, still requires modulatory inputs, and their outputs are not fixed. Doesn't explain where the modulatory inputs are, well, some modulatory inputs. Okay. This is a lower brain function, but I would not think it out of line to add a mechanism to do this within the. This is totally against what you usually argue for, Mark. I'm surprised. I'm gonna have to call it out. I thought you were upset about putting modeling too much in the canonical. Are you watching, Mark? I can't tell if anybody's even watching. It says one viewer, but my chat room says there's people in the chat room. Why doesn't autocorrect know just to take one L out of modeling? And why is modeling not right with two L's? This would be adding more to that representation. I thought you were, let's just say, not happy about, I thought you were against, let's say, or generally against modeling too much in the canonical cortical circuit. This would be adding more to that representation that you admit is not there in the brain. I don't understand. I'll just leave it at that. So I think we have to think a lot more about how we're going to deal with movement, like the interaction of self with reality. Like, I think that's, I don't know. I don't know the answer to this question. Poulin, this is what I get when I plot all the previous things with pi implementation of SDR classifier, as you suggested. This might be a related issue. Okay. In summary, with pi implementation, prediction confidence behaves as expected, i.e. generally having 100% confidence in predicting a very predictable signal. Wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Yes, that is very interesting. Wow. So, wow. So first of all, kudos for finding that. Well done. Taking the time and effort. Listen, I've been a part of open source communities, and it takes a lot of commitment to like do something like this, like what Poulin has done here, just to get the software running and start playing around with it. And like, this guy's put in a lot of time. Thank you for doing that. I'm just saying thanks. I think it's worth the time it took to let's just say present this. Just fighting with English. That's exactly what I thought. I'm not sure what to make of this, honestly. The SDR classifier, from an HTM standpoint, is not interesting. I hate saying that, but it's not something, I know it's not something that Numento will put effort into figuring out, because it's outside of the realm of HTM theory. It's a typical classifier. So if somebody wants to go in and look and figure this out, what's going on in there, you're welcome to do it, but I really don't think that we're going to put any effort into trying to fix this, especially if when you use the Python classifier it works, because then you at least have something you can go on. All right. Get back to this. I streamed about this a lot yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, so he's just noting that this is a related issue. I want to go back to, in addition to this, I really think this is awesome. I'm going to give you an awesome badge. I just really like it when people do stuff like that. Take that extra time. If I miss anyone putting a lot of time into something, let me know. Just some additional conversation from yesterday. Yeah. So he's just got to deploy it. He already deployed it. Towards demystifying over-parameterization in deep learning. Sean usually posts deep learning stuff. And he's watching this video about over-parameterization of neural networks. I'm not going to watch this right now. I just want to see who it is. Mandi Sultano. I can't pronounce it. Okay, the mathematics of imaging. So it's a college seminar or something. CFAR 10. Okay, so I'm not gonna. Oh darn it! It's the whole thing. Where was I? Anyway, just to read his comment. Oh, sorry, that's funny. He's posting on YouTube because he's banned forever from YouTube on his daughter's account. Okay, if the layer is normalized to a constant vector length, okay, I don't know. I'm not in. This is very much deep learning stuff, and I'm just not super interested in it. So, oh yeah, I did a Twitch test. Thank you, Mark. I don't think the Apple phone is good for Hangouts. I think I looked or sounded very good in the last. Apple phone? That Apple phone is. I never use my Apple phone for Hangouts. I don't quite know what you mean. Do I? Maybe I did once. I don't remember. Alright, this music is starting to drive me insane now. Hold on. Let me just get to the next thing. Okay. Whew. Whew. Okay. Stuff's still happening in the forum, like in real time. Sam, are you on Twitter, or on Twitch and Twitter and the forum at the same time? The winner cells also grow apical connections with the active cells in the output layer representing object ABDC. Yeah, we're talking about pooling now, I think. Wouldn't this approach require knowing the possible... Oh, it's editing. Sam is editing this post in real time. Let's see here. We're going to move on to BHTMS soon, I think. What was he saying? Though it wouldn't it require knowing the sequences or their links ahead of time? Like, yeah, like how does it know to treat ABCD and XBCY as separate sequences? In a real streaming scenario, we won't inherently know when one sequence ends and another begins unless there's a mechanism that determines that. Yeah, so I think in a real streaming scenario, you sort of get, your sequences are tied to movements. Oh, man. You saw it here for just a moment. Okay, I'm gonna back away from this topic and let Sam collect his thoughts before I continue. That was my Twitter. I don't know. I just instinctively open Twitter sometimes. Oh, there you are, Mark. Okay. You could do it right and bring in the subcortical drivers of these repetitive actions. I would be a fan of it, but it does seem like a long way from where we're at the moment. Adding a small driver to abstract the function for now seems like a reasonable compromise. Fair enough. Fair enough.